Hi, hello. Welcome to another live stream. I'm just setting things up here because I was late. Just give me a second and we will begin momentarily. We appreciate your call. Just kidding. I just lost the chat. Where is it? Oh, here you are. Okay, now I just need to send a quick tweet to let people know that we are live. If you would indulge me for a few seconds, I can do it here. So let's go to twitter.com. Oh, look at those little rascals. Okay, so working on the text to ads project. I'm joining. What's that? And next is Discord. Hey D-Mail, how you doing? Welcome. Thank you for joining me. How is your day? Depending on the time zone that we are, how is your evening? All right, you go away, you go away. And I think, let's put it, no, I have it here actually. Okay. So, I think that last time we were working on this, we managed to display, hi Abdul, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining me again. So nice to see you. So last time we ended up with the ability to show available slots when you select different options, radio station, a date, and a service. I think we can begin by excluding the already occupied slots or adding a few ad slots so that we can exclude those from the list. Good so far. How was yours? It was pretty good, thank you. It's late night for me, so I'm just looking real quick and want to say hi. Thank you, I appreciate that. Seriously. On Germany. Oh, that's cool. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. So yeah, it was a good day today at work. I had a good rest from my headache on Monday, and today I'm ready to keep going, keep trucking. So yeah, let's do the ad slots real quick, and we can move on to see if we can make a request for the text to speech API so that we can create a file and preview that file. Hopefully we'll have time to do all of that. Do I have everything open here? Yes. Zoom in a little. I need Vite running. It's done. This one is, I think it's Arturo. All right. Just making sure that we are still good. Radio station A, date. Oh, there's a service that's still working. And then a date. Let's go. Today's what, Wednesday? So we do have a schedule for today. Today is the 9th. And then on time, we have a very extensive list of options. And now we just need to cut this short depending on the available slots. So what I'm thinking is maybe we can just create, nice to hear, quite curious, where are you from? I'm from Costa Rica, Central America, actually. Yeah, that's where I'm from. So we're quite far apart. It's actually not too late at night, 7:30 p.m. here, 7:36. We don't have a table for this though, right? I don't think we do. Database, migrations. Yep. Really, really nice. Schedule services, add slots. Okay, so here's the thing though. What we are doing right now is we are creating an ad slot that has a type of business, a copy, radio station. So I'm guessing what we can do is a dependent table that actually depends on this record or belongs to this record so that we can create many time slots for the same ad. Or yeah, we can create several time slots for the same ad, so we can charge $12 for each, so that when we're creating the actual ad from all of this information, including the file that we're going to create later, then we just have to create the file, create as many slots as we select. By the way, this should be a multi-select, either that or a bunch of checkboxes, now that I think about it. Because I can probably go and select, okay, I want 11, I want 1 p.m. and 3:30 if I wanted to. And that'll be $26 in total. What I'm worried about is how much space that's going to take. Given that we are currently running, we should probably shorten the list of available slots or modify the schedule at least. It's very unlikely that we're going to have so many time slots to run ads. So yeah, we can probably do that, and that'll make the checkboxes look better. Yeah. So yeah, we are going to need one more table. What do we call this? This one is add slots. Well, that's unfortunate naming. I would have preferred to create an ads table and then a slots table. We have one ad with several slots. Can we make that change? Are we too far into it? I think we can. I mean, this table is empty. The only thing that I would have to change is the model for it, and then modify the form here so that this model is different. Yeah, let's do that. I'd rather do that. What happens if I rename this migration? Or I could just, let's create a new one. That'll be less messy, I think. Because then I can just rerun it fresh. not migration. Let's create a model. In fact, let's make model add with a migration. Okay, and let's also create another model called slot. Time slot. Time slot. I like time slot better. And also a migration for that. Now, what I can do is I'm going to take the add slots table definition. I'm going to take all of that, yoink. Let's open create ads table, which is going to be basically the same. Save that. And now the time slots. What do we need for the time slot? We need an ID. And let's also create a foreign ID table. Ooh. Place. There you go. Foreign ID. And this is going to be the add ID. Constrained. You know what I learned? I think we were talking about this in one of the last streams, that when you create migrations, you usually have to be careful in the order that you create them. Because if you have a foreign ID for a table that you're creating first, and depends on a table that is created later, then you would generally have an error. It doesn't happen on SQLite because I actually read it in the documentation. SQLite by default disables foreign keys when you're running the migrations. So that's SQLite specific. If you try that on MySQL, for example, I'm betting you're going to have issues if you are creating a foreign ID for a table that doesn't exist or that is created later down the line. Just wanted to let you guys know. No need for ID, you think? I think it's because I'm using foreign ID, I actually have to give the column name. Based on the column name, it's going to have pivot table. I don't. Here's the thing: the time slots. Every time slot belongs to an add. So it'll be a belongs to relationship. So I'm creating the foreign ID in time slots so that it belongs to an add. Given the add ID column in foreign ID, we'll let Laravel figure out, okay, that is the foreign ID, and then figure out what table, based on the naming convention, is going to figure out, okay, this is for the ads table, and it's going to do all the constraining there. So it's not, pivot tables are for, as you know, belongs to many, but there's not pivot table in this case. So this will belong to an add. What else do we need? Oh, obviously we need the time. This will be a timestamp actually. Is there anything else? I don't think. That should be enough for now. Now I'm concerned that if I do a migrate fresh and one of the files is missing, it's not going to be able to drop the table. So I'm going to keep the migration and then I'm going to swap everything. Or I'm going to give it a try. I'm actually not sure. Let me see. So that's saved. What happens if I just remove the create add slots table? That's kind of a long way of doing basically the same thing, I think. But index, it's more like, well, if you want to create like the long-winded version of a foreign key, then yeah, but you already have this foreign key method here, which I think behind the scenes is creating the foreign key index, and we're already running constraint here. I'm not worrying about cascade on update and delete. Maybe if I need it later, I'll add it, but right now I don't think I need it. So this is I think this is all we need for now. Just the foreign ID to the add ID, which will constrain it to the adds table based on the name. Then a timestamp for the time, and that's it. So we deleted one migration. What happens if we run this fresh PHP artisan make? I'm gonna have to recreate all the schedules though. That's a bummer. I think. Do I have feeders for this? I don't think I do. Oh yeah, I do. That's fine. So we're creating a radio station, a service, a schedule. That should be enough. And also, it's actually before I run the migration again. If the lead add, not the lead time. Yeah, like I said, maybe we will need it later, but let me think about this. In fact, I should also make the ads soft delete to be soft deleted. I don't think we want to eliminate an ad record completely. But yeah, that's further down the road. Right now, it's like we might need it, just not yet. Maybe when we get to that part where we actually want to administer all of the ads, etc. So we might need it down the line. But right now, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. Actually, you know what? It doesn't hurt. Let's just do it. Just in case. Cascade on the. Ooh, I did it 5 times. Let me back that up. There. At least that way I won't forget later. So yeah, you're right. Let's modify this seeder for the schedule so that we don't have too many slots. So instead of 9, let's go from 11 to 2 p.m., something like that. All right, let's give this a try. No, that's fine. It just completely drops all the tables. It didn't even care that the migration was not there for one of the tables. It just wipes everything clean and starts from 0. We have the add table, time slots table. Let's work on cleaning up the models because now we have a model that we don't need. Slot, here we go. I'm gonna take, oh, okay, so yeah, I'm gonna take all of the definition from here. All of the relationships and everything. Yank that and go to add. And put all of that in here. Okay, that should do it. Now let's go to the create add component. And down in the form, instead of add slot, let's bring in the add model. Now we can get rid of this one and get rid of the class itself. Good. Now we still need one more relationship on the add. That is for the time slots. So let's create that. Yeah. No. Time slots. Sorry, time slots. They has many. Hey X4, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. That's a really cool. It's a really cool avatar. Quite of a series. That's one of my favorites actually. Breaking Bad. As many time slot class. Ooh, there. Time slot. So now we need the inverse of that relationship. Let's go to time slot model. Hey, the bold player 42, how you doing? Thank you for joining me on the stream on the Twitch side. So nice to see you. Hello, hello. Huh. Okay, so Right, so we have the ad, we have all of the models, we have everything ready. Now, what we should do is let's create a couple of time slots for a fictional ad. Ooh, okay, so we're gonna need an ad. Let's go and check that. Let's go to table plus. Because I need an ad in order to create a time slot, I need an ad first. So I'm going to create a fictional ad with just dummy data and then create a couple of slots for Wednesday. Any date would be fine. Oh, it should be the actual date. So for today, so that we can test it. In that way, I can just collect all of the time slots based on the date and then remove those from the list. What do we need here? So user ID, we only have one user, which is, I'm not in the right. Is this the right database? Yeah, it is. Oh, I delete the user. Did I delete the user? I deleted the user, didn't I? So I'm going to get kicked out. I should have that on the seeder though. Now I have to go and register. Okay. Now we have one user. And what else do we need? We need a user, which is going to be one, not yet. Radio station ID. We only have one. Later. Radio station, we only have one. Service, we only have one. Business type. Okay, let's try this. User ID 1, radio station ID 1, service ID 1, business type ID 1, scheduled at, let's try today, which is the October 9th. I think only the date is required. That's a mistake. I don't need a time here. I think I thought I was going to have only one time, but now I have multiple. So this column doesn't really need a value, although is it nullable? I don't think it is. Now I need to recreate everything again. JSON it? Yeah, that would have been better though, right? Unfortunately, that's the burden of working with relational databases. But it's not that big of a deal. I'm just lazy. So let's go to the add table. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. Let's remove this time from here. It's actually a time column. But actually, I want this in the time slots table. Create time slot table instead of a timestamp. So I'm glad I caught that. Okay. So now that gives me the opportunity to work on the seeder a bit more because I don't want to lose my user. So that way we have a user, we have a service, a schedule. Let's create, I didn't create a, okay, yeah. Let's create, what was it that we needed? An ad. So add, create. User ID, radio station ID, service ID. Business type ID. Come on, what are you doing? Add copy. I'm not saving the user record at the moment. That's why I'm not using user ID. I should though. You're right. Ooh, business type. I'm not creating business types. It's a problem. What else? Add copy, and that's it. Schedule add. Okay, so Abdul, I don't have factories, unfortunately. I didn't think of that ahead of time. So I'm using mass assignment. Will, what are you talking about? I don't I don't understand. For X, what did I do for X? And fried rice. Hi, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining me. I am using VS Code. That's my editor of choice. And the ball player, sorry, I didn't see your chat before. I'm using SQLite. Yeah, that's yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm not using factories. Maybe I should have, but I'm way too ahead now to go back and create the factories. And to be honest, I'm using very specific values here, so doesn't really matter. Thank you. It's been a long road for it to look like this, to be honest. But yeah, I like it clean and without distractions. So I take away most of the clutter, rearrange things, use nice icons, etc. So yeah. How to test without factories? That's the thing. I'm not testing. I'm not testing. Don't tell anyone, but I'm not testing. Actually, I am testing. Oh, that's not mine. that's that's Breeze. So yeah, I'm not testing today on this project. All right, I hope this is enough. Let's try it out. Oh, I said I need time slots. So let's put this in a variable. Okay. Let's do time slot, create. Hashtag you're just saying. I suppose. Yeah, shocking. I suppose it's also a good practice to use get key instead of ID, since the primary key could be something different than ID. Yeah, yeah. I usually do that, but it's yeah, and I'm a bit more relaxed on this project than before. Yeah, the IDs could be UUIDs, for example, or could be a different column name, custom column name. So it is safer to use get key. But in this project, I'm just kind of just going with the defaults and not really worrying too much about it. But it is good practice. Oh, really? I thought it was convention to name everything primary key ID. Not really. In my job, for example, we have very long-winded, verbose um, primary keys. So it started like 10, 15 years ago when we were building the main project from the ground up using PHP vanilla, and we didn't have or ORMs or anything like that. We were just raw dogging it with PDOs. So the primary keys are actually the table name and then hash underscore ID. Every primary key has a table name in it. Good or bad, that's what we went with, and too late to change now. So yeah, it's not really a written in stone convention. So you might be surprised how many database you're going to find where the ID is not actually, the key is not actually just ID. So yeah, it's safer to go with get key if you're not totally sure what the ID might be. Let's see if this works. I'm totally expecting some mass assignment problems. Thanks for the insights. No problem. Anytime. No, just a regular imports missing. Table ads has no column name business type ID. Did I misspell it? Yes, I did. Didn't I fix that or okay. Did I not save that? I thought I saved. Oh, I didn't delete it, didn't I? I copied it, but no, yeah, it's not there. Oh, it's not saved. That little dot right there. I I remember when I was using PHP Storm a long time ago. Isn't it true that PHP Storm saves your files by default? Like it constantly saves your files. I'm not sure, but yeah, sometimes this little thing is very hard to see. There you go. Try that again. Okay. That went without a hitch. Let me check the database. Let's refresh. Discard the changes. There it is. It does whenever you remove focus from the. Yeah, that's what I remembered. Yeah. I don't know if I like that though. Can't remember. It was so long ago. Like really, really long ago. Does this one has autosave? VS Code? I don't know. Is that a feature? I kind of just have to be careful, but sometimes I missed those instances. It has local history, so basically it's just benefits. Is that VS Code or PHP Storm? You run Pine automatically, you trigger Vite automatically, etc. Yeah, I'm gonna look into it. Maybe I can just trigger autosave in VS Code. I'm gonna look into it. All right, so we have data in the database. So let me just go tinker with it real quick. So what I need is to probably just get, for example, if I'm selecting a date and I want to remove all of the already taken slots, I probably have to, let me think, how do I do this? Because the date is on the add, but the time is on the time slots. Thinking. If I do something like, I don't know, I could just go with scheduled at and then a specific date, which is today. 10:09. That the record that we have? Yeah. 10:09. Doesn't give me anything. I don't like that this one has times as well. Why doesn't it have time as well? I set it as a date, not a date time. I don't really like adding like. Should be a, I don't know. Why do I have to do like? Can't I do something like, oh, okay, one sec. Where date? No, the problem is that I think because the value, the actual value in the table has time. init. And I think this is SQLite specific. I don't know why, because the type of column I selected as date, specifically because I don't want the time in it. But I think SQLite adds the time to it, or maybe it was my mistake and I used Carbon. Oh, it was my mistake. It was my mistake. My microphone is a very cheap Strimplify mic that I think it was like $40. So it was my mistake because in the CDEL, I use value with time. Here, I'll show you. This is the problem. Should have done format here. So let's run it again. See, now there is no time value. And if I go here and run that again, hopefully it will work. Didn't. Why are you giving me time values, date to string? Am I casting it? I am casting it. Am I not? I think I am. Yeah. It is cast. It is casted. It is cast as a date. I think SQLite is just screwing with me. So let's screw with it back. I'm just gonna do that. So yeah, I just have to be careful to pass this in. Just a dummy time string. Just make sure that I format it correctly when I'm doing the select. But anyway, so that will give me the model or a bunch of models or in this case ads for that date. I need the times of all of them. So I'm probably gonna have to construct a time slots array. Let's do width here with time slots. How much PHP do we need to learn for Laravel? None. Is object-oriented programming an added advantage? Yes. You actually, if you have a foundation of object-oriented programming, then you have a good foundation of logic. And when you have that, learning a new language is just a matter of learning syntax, right? So in this language, I do an if statement like this. How is it done in this other language? This is how we do it in JavaScript. How do we do it in Python? How do we do it in Go? How do we do it in PHP? It's just a matter of different syntax. So if you have a good basis on object-oriented programming and you have your logic brain trained with thinking logically in programming and algorithms, etc., then it's really not a big jump. Specifically because how much Laravel does for you, that doesn't mean that, having said that, it doesn't mean that you don't have to learn it at all, but you should familiarize with it as you go along. When you run through the getting started part of the documentation, it does a great job of walking you step by step, and you can clearly see, well, this is a code snippet. And when you already have knowledge in another language, then you're going to see the syntax of this language and it's going to feel at home. If you have ever seen or worked with JavaScript, it's very similar. If you have ever seen other languages like C++, for example, just going to the extreme, again, very similar syntax. So it's gonna feel right at home, I think. But all you have to do is give yourself a small project, even if it is just following the documentation at first, and then create a new project for yourself. Use the documentation as a reference, and if you get stuck, look at a tutorial, get unstuck, and keep going, and you're gonna be up and running like this. So yeah, like Willie said, object-oriented programming, I wouldn't go as far as say it is essential, but it's it is a very good plus. So maybe I can do a for each. For each, I need to put this in a collection up here. In time slots, collect, and then for each adds as add. And then I can do another for each. Add time slots. As time slot. And then I can just do time slots. Push. And let's bring in, actually, let's not push. I need a key here. So the key will be the time slot, which is a Carbon instance already. So let's format it as military time. So HES, sorry. So hour, minutes, seconds. That's the key, and the value is going to be that same time slot formatted as 12 hours, then minutes, and then AM, PM. I hated that you have to cut it out. Just do it in one line. Thank you. AM, PM. So that'll be the format. So I'm expecting all of those to have, let's do time slots here. Let's do to array just to see it out. See if that works. Time slot format. I did not cast this. SQLite doesn't support date columns. Well, that right there is the problem there. So Is it just strings? It is just strings, isn't it? No problem, Sing. The OOP will help you when you want to use Livewire, design patterns like repository services, blade components, and more. Yes, that's correct. I think that the most important thing that I learned when I was learning to code back when I was like 21 years old was logic itself. Logic will get you through anything that you need to do in a programming language. Just having your logic foundations solid is more than enough. And then, like I said, learning new languages is just learning syntaxes. So let's go to the model because I didn't cast the time. And I don't need this cast here anymore. Actually, let me just delete it here. Let's go to time slot. Let's add a protected casts property. Put that there. Oh, I need to do time actually. That's the column time format. Time slot time. There you go. So technically, if we had many ads, many ad records for the same date, then we will end up with a list of times that are already taken. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that works. So I can use this, an array like this, to filter out how many slots I'm going to show in the dropdown or the checkbox list. And technically, two ads should not have the same time slot. And we have to make sure that that doesn't happen. So I'm not going to be overwriting keys in this array. Okay, let's put this to work. First of all, let's change the select for a checkbox list. It's really hard to say. So let's go to the create ad component down to this. This select has to be a checkbox list. Hey, I said it. So let's see. How do we do this? Forms, components, checkbox list, actually. Make. I'm gonna call it time. Time slots. If I do it with the relationship name, do you think filament is going to just save the relationship? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so this would be a label. Let's call it time, just like the other one. And let's just grab all of the options. I think it has options, right? And check. Filament, form builder, checkbox list. It has, but I don't know if I can use it when creating a new record. Let me see. So this one has options. That's fine. Ooh, these options are returned in JSON format. If you are saving them using Eloquent, you should be sure to add an array cast to the model property. No, it's not going to work though. Integrating with an Eloquent relationship. That's what I want. If you're building a form inside your Livewire component, make sure you have a set of forms. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, otherwise Filament doesn't know which model to use. I already have it, yes. You may employ the relationship method for the checkbox list to point to a belongs to many relationship, which we have. Filament will load the options from the relationship. Not what I want. There won't be any options to load. And save them back to the relationships pivot table. It's not a belongs to many. It's just a belongs to. That's the thing. Yeah, that's how it is. An ads an ad has many time slots, but I'm creating a checkbox list with the different options of time slots that you can select. So you can select as many. What I'm thinking is I'm just not going to grab that list and just directly saving it into a column in the model. I'm just going to iterate over that and just synchronize and create as many time slots as needed. So I'm thinking, let's just go through this. Options. It has an options. So I'm just going to use the options thing, and then I'm going to get the value from that, which is going to come out as an array. So I'm just going to grab all of the options that I'm already creating here for the dropdown. and then put them here. And let's see how that looks. Getting rid of this. Oh, I missed one, I think. No, I'm good, I think. All right, save that. Let's go back here. Log in. Get back to ads, create. And let's select business, radio station, service, and date. There you go. That's what I wanted. So the state of this checkbox list is going to come out as an array, and I can use that on the after validate, I guess. So when you click here, there is a code hook that, or an event, there is a before validate and after validate event. So I can use the after validate to grab the array of options that I have selected and first of all, create the ad with all of the information and then add as many times as I need. Obviously, I'm going to have to add a race condition or maybe some check so that I can, after hitting next, I can then go back and double check that all of the options are available. Before, that'll be before validate actually. So if for some reason I select 11 and someone else did and saved before me, I can then just stay here and give the user an error message saying some of the options are not available. I will have refreshed the options here and then let the user choose again. Although that is going to be very, very non-existent in this case. That'll be in the case where many users are using the application. So good to think, it's good to think in advance, just in case. In fact, let me, right now, if I click next, I have all the review, business type, ad copy, radio station. I'm losing all of those values. I used to have them. I don't know what happened. Oh, that's an ID. Okay. What if I create another placeholder just to see the value? What did I call it? Time slots. What will I get if I do this? An error. Array to string. This is an array. Okay, so let's do an implode here. a business type, test, radio station, service, date, maybe a couple of times, and then next. There you go. Those are the times that are selected. So I can use that array and iterate over it, create as many time slots as needed for the already created add record, I think. Yeah, once I click next here, I suppose. All right, now let's work on. So there is one slot unavailable right now, should be, because 12 p.m. that's the only time slot that I have already created. So let's take the code that we just used here. Copy that. Let's go back. Not print. I don't want that. Let's go back here and this code is getting way too long. I'm going to have to break this down into smaller chunks. Break it down into functions. Disable options when. That's a good point. I didn't know about that one. Let me check. Is that a repeater thing? Disabling options when they are already selected in another item. If you'd like to disable options in a select radio checkbox list or toggle buttons when they are already selected in another item, you can use disable options when selected in sibling repeater items. I don't think that's the one that you're mentioning, is it? Oh, here. Oh, okay. So you can disable specific options. When using the disable option when method, it accepts a closure in which you can check if the option with a specific value should be disabled. But disable doesn't mean invisible though, or does it? Because what I don't want is to show it. I think this is referring to you already have a list of options and you're just going to mark one as disabled. I don't want to have that option visible though. So it's not that I want to disable it, it's just that I don't want to show it at all. So yeah, I don't think this applies. It means disable, you cannot send it, but it makes more sense to show unavailable dates, in my opinion. You think? Interesting point. Wouldn't it? I mean, what? Um, what's the point of showing the user something that they cannot select? Because in my mind, I just want to see the options that I can select. If the option is disabled, then why show it at all? I don't know. It would be nice. I don't see a 12 a.m. slot for the 15th, so I imply you never have a 12 a.m. slot. Hmm. Okay, let's do this. Let's do it with the disable option when, because that way I can use a different function, and the options method is already a little too bloated. So that'll give me the chance to break it down, and we can see how it looks, and if it feels right, then that's fine. We can leave it. So let's do, where do we put it? Right here. I want to book an ad spot at prime time, but for the one date I see that time span, but the next date I don't. Nancy, okay. Yeah, if you put it that way. So I select one date, and I know that I could have selected a 12 midday spot, but that's already taken. So in my mind, I think, well, maybe let's go to the next day. Maybe I'll have that one available, and maybe you do. So you see all the options, except that for some dates they're not available. So you move to another day to see if they are available. And you're not confused as to why this day has less slots than the other. Yeah, totally agree. Okay, you make a good point. Disable options when. This takes a closure. In this closure, I'm going to need the get object. All right, back to the code snippet. Let's copy this and paste it here. Oop, nothing like that. Okay, so we get all of the ads. Now we need to yeah. So let's do get, just like we did up here. Yeah, let's actually copy this line. So we get the date for scheduled ad. Parse it through Carbon. Now we can format it here. So date, format, year, month, day, and just pass in a bunch of zeros so that we get the value. Yeah, you're right. Wait. I could do, yeah. So just get the radio station, then get the ads for that radio station and query the relationship for the, okay. Yeah. Check if scheduled not empty. Schedule at, you mean? Okay, so just let me check something real quick. Radio station. I don't have a relationship for the radio station and the ad. That's a problem, because the ad does belong to a radio station, and I'm not being consistent here. This should be radio station. If I'm doing business type up here, camel case, let's do it up here too, down here. So I should have the inverse relationship here, so that I can get the relation, I can get the radio station based on the value already selected, then get all of the radio stations ads and query that relationship by date. Let's go back to radio station, services, schedules, ads. This is a has many. Let's doodle it a bit. So that means that I can do, so we're gonna have that as that. So we can do instead radio station radio station ads as a relationship with slots where date get. Does that work? It does. Awesome. All right, let's go back to create ad and let's find that radio station first. With the value from radio station ID. I think that's the one, right? Yeah, radio station ID. And then let's do exactly what we said. Radio station ads with time slots. I don't need this where here. With time slots where schedule ad equals the date, and then get all of those. So we get all of the ads. We created a collection of time slots. We iterate over all of the ads and all of the time slots for those ads. Create an array, and then we just have to wait. Disable option 1. I'm doing something, getting ahead of myself. So this needs to return a Boolean. Okay. What is this in? Oh, that's just for the get enable options. Never mind. Mm-hmm. Got it, got it, got it. So basically, I just need to return a bool value. In array contains. Oh, right. I have the value there. So I can do a contain, right? Oh, but that's unfortunate. You know the one thing that I don't like? Yeah. The one thing that I'm not happy about is the fact that I'm doing this for each option. Yeah. Well, not that specifically, because if I'm solving that with where is it? Here. So that prevents the n plus problem, which I'm already loading the time slots in one query. So every time I access time slots here, that's not a query anymore. Query happened here. Problem is that I'm doing all of this for each of the values in the array. So for every time slot that is returned in the options function, I'm doing all of this. So I'm querying the radio station, I'm querying the ads for that radio station, and then running this for each, and then I'm running a contains for the value in that array. That's the only thing I'm not very happy about. It's not that big of a deal because, to be honest, it's not going to be more than 20 loops, 20 queries in one go. I'm still not happy about it. Yeah. We could solve it later, maybe try and figure out if we can cache it somehow. But we can talk about optimization later. Let's make it work first. So now that I have a collection of time slots, I can say return time slots contains a value which I have to pass in here. Right? String value. So I'm guessing I don't need to make this a key value pair, just a basic collection. Christopher, hi man, I didn't see you come in. Array or collection? I'm using collections. You can use enum for time. Not in this scenario. I can't, because the time is a dynamic value of options based on many other selections that come before it. So I'm creating a collection of time slots based on the radio station, the service, etc. So I don't think I can use an enum for that value. It's not static. That's what I mean. Instead, let's do time slots. Push. That should be easier. That should work, right? You need a collection of unavailable time slots to compare against. Yeah, that's this. Yeah, that's this. Those are the unavailable time slots. This collection is just a collection of time slots that you cannot select. So if the value in the time options is contained within those, then it should be disabled. That's how I understand it, at least. Let's see. Service, test, radio station, service, today, disabled. It's very unnoticeable, but I'm clicking on it and it doesn't work. It worked. And you were completely right, because, sorry, Willie, because if I can't select that one, I can just go to the next day. And it fails. What happened? Oh, there is no schedule for that. Okay, so we have a problem there. That's good. That's good. We have a target. That's because we don't have a schedule for tomorrow, Wednesday, so Thursday. So we need to fix this error, which happens where? Undefined index, undefined key array 0. Where is the... Hold on. Who's failing with this? Create add 102. Okay. So it's failing here? Select has the same disable options when. Yeah. Why is it failing here? Well, I know why, but... Undefined array key 0. So that means that this is giving me nothing. Okay. So I should check for schedule here first. Will that work? Let's see. Test radio station tomorrow. Didn't work. Okay. I hate it that I can't see the line. It's telling the line here. It's 102. It should be this one. But I was hoping that this... Dang it. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try something. If not schedule. Let me see if I can bind up there. Hmm. What can it be? What can it be? Okay, I'm doing the same thing here. So let me just... Okay. I'm gonna comment this out. Actually, let's remove it. I don't need it anymore. And up until there. And that'll be the date. Really? Okay, so the only thing that happens is that Thursday is no, right there. Let's collect, and it's gonna fail right in this if. It isn't supposed to get in here either way. So is this the problem? You are already destructuring in the other code. That'd be an issue? I don't know. I mean, I'm taking the exact same. See this if here? It's supposedly failing on this condition here. I was thinking because the schedule was The schedule is not empty. It's just the property that is coming out as null. So starts and it ends at, starts at and ends at, they will both be null. So if these two are null, that means that this array is empty. Let me check. What if I just take this section here? Let's put it up here. So that means, look what happens when I actually put a date where there is a schedule. So that'll be the 9th. That gives me an array with two options. Sorry. If I don't have a schedule for the day, for another day, losing my voice. But that's the thing, I don't know how, because if I do array filter, if I move the date to this, that means that this array filter is going to take null value and null value. This, these two entries here will be null, right? Okay, let's do that. Array filter is going to give me an empty array. That's what's going to happen. Array filter is just going to give me an empty array, which is going to be assigned to this two, or will be the result. So look, if I do array filter, I just get an empty array when there is no schedule. If I have a schedule, it gives me an array with two entries. The start of the shift and the end of the shift. So that all works. What I'm thinking is, because this works here, that means it is jumping to the return, where is returning an empty array. I think the empty array is the problem here. Don't know why would that be the case, but it's weird, really weird. Shooting in the dark here. Didn't like an empty array. That was the problem. Actually, no, wait. Didn't say anything. Okay, let's uncomplicate this real quick. Undo that, and let's just break this thing down bit by bit. right? Doing the same thing, but I'm breaking it down into smaller pieces. Rajteul Islam. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I'm sorry. DD check inside the if conditions. That's what I'm trying. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Problem is that because I had that complicated if condition that was checked, that was doing three things at the same time, it was kind of difficult. But now that I'm breaking it down, I can see if it fails in the right spot. Remove that. And actually, let's run it like this to see where it fails now. Save that. I don't need that. Radio station, service, there. Now it's not failing because of the service. Ah, now it's fine. Kind of weird, isn't it? Basically doing the same thing, but now the if, it's just a check on an empty array. And if I select the previous date, it works. Quite interesting. Huh. I didn't change anything. All I did was break down things into more readable pieces of code. It was doing exactly the same thing, but now the if check is just simpler. And it's way easier to read too. Huh. James. Did I say hi to you, James? If I didn't, I'm sorry. I was just reading reading chat and I didn't even check the names. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's because the if check is checking the actual array. The interesting part is that doing it on Tinker was working. This if statement here didn't fail on Tinker, but it didn't fail. But sorry, it didn't fail in this Tinker code, but it did fail in Filament, which is really interesting. And it's doing the same thing. It's doing the array filter and then assigning and deconstructing that array into two variables. And if there is no value, then this will be an empty array, and that would supposedly fail the check. But it was somehow failing on this line here, or one of those. It was hard to tell. You think it's Livewire? Nah, Livewire shouldn't have any saying on that. Whoop. Who was that? Matias Gonzalez. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. You're awesome, dude. So yeah, that was really interesting. Well, that helped me actually to make the code more readable and more debuggable, if that's a word. Okay, that's working. I should show something by default. I don't like the fact that is just showing nothing, right? There should be like a placeholder here. Or they should all be disabled. How about that? Hmm. Hmm. Well, no, because there is no schedule to be. There is no actual shift on that day. Or maybe we can just hide it or show a different label. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But at least we are able to do what we wanted, which is disable the ones that we can't select. Awesome. All right, so I think from here on, we can just move on to creating the actual, well, there is one more step. When we do next, I'm guessing there has to be some extra validation here. And then when we move to here, what I want to do is instead of this button here, I want to make the request to text-to-speech API, to the text-to-speech API, get a file going, and then put a like a player here to preview that audio. Fortunately, we are already running out of time. Set a message and get message in the label. Yeah, that's a good option. Maybe a better way. So actually, maybe a better way so the user doesn't select a date with no time slots. Huh. We could use the disable when, actually. That's a good idea. We could disable a date if there is no schedules for it. That'll be easy to check, right? Let's give it a try. Yeah, could. But then again, we should be consistent. If we are disabling times, we should also disable dates. I mean, if we're gonna do one, let's do them both. Or maybe you're right, maybe not even show it. At some point, I would like to move that to a date picker, like a calendar. That way you could clearly see the disabled dates. But let's give this a try. So we do have a select for schedule at, right? And it's just it's just adding 5 days in advance. So let's try. Disable options when. Let me think, how do we do this? So we get the value into the function. The value is the date. So we use that date to query that radio station. Sorry, that radio station schedule. Yeah. Yeah. So let's do a function here. You're gonna need get. And we're gonna need the string value. Nope, not that. So now we can do, where is it? Yeah, let's grab these two, or actually all of them. So we can get the time slots. No, wait. Actually, I want this. We get the date, we get the radio station. We query the schedule. Those I need. Let's put them over here. So instead of using get scheduled at, we use the value. Like so. Radio station, fine. We get the radio station and we check the radio station schedule using the date. And then we can do this shift right here. And that would either be an empty array or an array with two options. And then we just have to return. Why don't we just return that? I wonder what happens if, because an empty array will evaluate to false, which means that it should be disabled. I don't need this. Ooh. Time to read property schedule, so no. Ew. Okay, we need to put this in a condition because we can't do this if there is no radio station selected. Let's move this up there. And then if anything, if we can't get in that, we just return true. False. Wait. Okay, so the lazy way is removing just because you can do it in query. Yes. But we're not lazy. Well, I'm lazy, but try not to be. We can always go back and forth, you know? Let's try and disable it, see how it feels. Does it look good? Does it make sense? And if it doesn't, then we can just remove it. So yeah, we get the radio station, we get the date, radio station, fine. Where are the schedules? I'm returning not here because if this is not an empty array, so if it's true, it's disabled. If it's an empty array, that means that 2 false equals true. That means it's disabled. Otherwise, we don't disable it. Okay, let's see if that actually works. So, radio station, service. There you go. I actually like it. it makes you think, okay, yeah, well, there is nothing to select here. Again, at some point, I think I want to move into a date picker. There is actually, yeah, I might be able to create a date picker where the actual dates that you can select are only available. This, though, it works. It works. I think it works. Looks good, right? Yeah. Makes you think, oh, I missed the window. I'll try again next week. Or I don't miss out. I don't want to miss out. And then I absolutely check all of the boxes here. Money, 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 money. I think. I don't know. All right. Let's put a pin on it. And next Monday, let's start working on the actual text to speech, I think. Adding some validations here, creating a record, and then transforming this add copy into an actual file, previewing it in the next tab over here somehow. And then we can start thinking about the checkout and stuff. But we are doing good. We are doing good time. Not that we are stressed or anything for time. We have all the time in the world. Yeah, that's nice. I hate pickers where I have to go through each date and see nothing available. So this works. Okay, yeah, good point. All right, thank you so much for watching and for joining me today. We're gonna stop here, and I'll see you all on Friday with the Kanban board. And I think Friday is going to be the last one. I don't have much more to do on that one. I might go into details on the deployment. I do want to have that deployed on my web page so that you guys can try it out. But yeah, that one is already reaching its sunset. If you found any of this helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, follow me on Twitch if you're not doing so, and I'll see you in the next one. And if you're on Twitch, stand by while I find someone to raid. Let's see, what do we have here? No, 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 no. I don't see any options. There's got to be something. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Only the ones I follow. That's why I had so many options. All right, I'm going to send you off to the Parrot at Pirate Software. So you can just leave this in the background and just have fun looking at those little guys. All right, see you. Bye.